I think it's time to give the expert a turn. Performing stand-up comedy, please welcome to the stage, Ishan Gulaman.
Good evening, y'all. Are you guys ready for some school-sanctioned stand-up? I desperately hope there are no Will Smiths in the audience tonight. I think it's a joke. All right, folks, I'd like to clear this up now. No, I did not escape from a commune. You know, matter of fact, I've never even done LSD. Yeah. Never done Leland speech and debate. Speaking of hippies, though, have you heard about the UC Berkeley court case about how they slashed enrollment by 3,000 because the city's rich liberals didn't want to spring for affordable, high-density housing? It's crazy. That said, I feel like most students I talk to here hear significantly more about this than I do. I mean, every conversation I had last semester was something along the lines of, "Oh my God, did you hear? They cut UC Berkeley enrollment by 3,000. I'm so screwed. It's such a travesty." Yeah, it is a travesty, right? I mean, it's Berkeley, and they voted down affordable housing. No, not about that, you moron. My chance of getting a burger is so screwed. Hey, why don't you care? Why are you so unaffected? And the simple answer to that, folks, is that I'm smart. But more than smart, I am wise. Because as for the great philosopher Lao Tzu, knowing yourself is true wisdom. And I've gotten to know myself for the past 17, 18 years, and I've come to the unerrable conclusion, the fundamental, universal truth that I am a moron with absolutely no chance of getting into Berkeley, with or without the court case. You know, I actually wrote that joke before Berkeley decisions came out, and guess what? Not only am I wise, but I can predict the future. Speaking of current events, got the midterm elections coming up, and I'm trying to become more politically aware, right? So I started reading up on the 2020 presidential candidates. And of course, I can't vote yet, but I feel like I really identify with Andrew Yang. Because I, too, have a very niche appeal that I threaten every time I open my mouth. Now, I also really vibe with Senator Elizabeth Warren, because I, too, have at least once checked off the American Indian box on the census form. If Columbus can make that mistake, I can too. I'm sorry, I should have realized it was the other Indian. You know, folks, I'm going to give it to you straight. The English language's currency-based expressions are severely outdated. You know, penny for my thoughts, in this economy, madness, insanity, inflation is at an all-time high. My thoughts are therefore $1.25 a piece, at least. And if you want my honest opinion, that has to be at least $5. Folks, I am a senior, but I'm currently taking PE this year. Because it is my goal in life, my one aim, to be able to do a single push-up, a single proper push-up. And of course, as you might expect, I am one of two seniors in a class full of sophomores. Being a senior in a class full of sophomores, it has its moments, I'm not gonna lie. For one thing, I'm finally tall. Do you know how good that feels to be tall for once in your life? I mean, I highly recommend it sometime. Just walk onto a playground and proclaim to all the little kids there, "Look upon my height, yea mighty, and despair." That said, I have zero athletic prowess, none whatsoever, especially when it comes to basketball. When it comes to basketball, I'm like LeBron James in Space Jam. The thing is, when the basketball unit in PE rolled around, these poor kids, they had no idea I was terrible. In fact, they were like cheering, they were high-fiving each other like, dude, we have a sophomore, we have a senior on our team, we're gonna dominate our opponents. And then game time comes, and I have the ball. And I'm gearing up for a shot. And I look at my teammates for a second, and they're all cheering me on. Their hope and optimism just beaming out of their eyes, thinking this hippie-looking burnout is gonna carry them to victory. And then, I have the ball, I'm ready for a shot. This sophomore, 5'0" rejects me. Straight, just blocks the shot. And I look at my teammates, and they look like they just saw Trump winning the 2016 election. To be honest though, I kind of see where they're coming from, because I remember what it was like to be a sophomore. It was my first year at Leland, and honestly, I was all kinds of nervous. I was like a nervous wreck, because we moved here from Hyderabad, India, like a week before school starts, right? So a few days before sophomore year started, I was standing in the scheduled pickup line with absolutely no idea as to what I was supposed to do. I mean, I hadn't chosen my courses, I had no idea what my student ID number was. If I'm being completely honest, I was pretty nervous about communicating with the kids here. Because, you know, I can speak, read, and write English fluently, but I don't know how to speak, read, and write American fluently. You know, like every other rational former colony, in India, you write dates and you spell words the right way. Dates go day, month, year, and the extra vowels and color are important. I know some of you are like, oh well, that extra U is useless. Well, you are extra useless too, but you don't hear me complaining. Okay, so you guys get the idea, right? Standing in line, nervous wreck, all kinds of just crazy stuff. And I was specifically stuck in line in front of these two loud white kids. I mean, these kids were whiter than the love child of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mike Pence knee-deep in mayonnaise. Not a pleasant image, is it? And for no discernible reason, and I mean no discernible reason, this dynamic duo started rapping Ransom by Lil Tecca out loud. And honestly, that's when all my anxiety melted away. Because I realized that number one, these kids are just as sheltered as my friends and I in India. And number two, they want to be black just as badly as my friends and I in India. Folks, just one more, and I promise you'll be rid of me. So, I would like to end this on a word of advice. And this is actually, I'm being completely serious here. This is some advice that was given to me by a friend of mine in India. This was the last thing he ever said to me before we went our separate ways, and I never saw him again. And he was a senior, and he was like really wise, incredibly wise. He should have had like the full long white beard and everything. But those words, I carry them with me until today, because they have so profoundly changed my life and positively changed my worldview for the better. And I know that once you hear them, they will impact your life positively as well. I mean, these words, they revealed the fundamental, universal truth of the world to me. And I would like you to hear them as well. I would like all of us to just share in this experience of listening to these magical words of wisdom that my friend so kindly bestowed upon me all those years ago. Use protection. Thank you!